All right, so you want to dive into swing trading. Awesome. And you've brought along Brian Pezim's How to Swing Trade. Great choice. I've got to say, I really like how Pezim emphasizes tailoring swing trading to your own life. You don't always hear enough about that. Expert speaker, what stood out to you from what you've read?
You know, it's interesting. What really struck me is how Pezim doesn't just throw a bunch of charts and technical terms at you. He actually gives you a framework, a way to understand how swing trading can fit into your life. Whether you're someone with a busy job or just starting out, he emphasizes that aligning your trading strategies with your lifestyle and how much risk you're comfortable with is key.
It's refreshing, isn't it? It's not like he's saying one size fits all. Plus, he seems really big on managing risk, which I love to hear. It's not all about chasing those huge wins. It's about protecting yourself along the way.
Absolutely. He goes pretty deep into the specifics of how to manage risk, which I'm sure we'll get into later, but maybe we should start with defining swing trading itself.
Right. Swing trading is all about capturing those short to medium term gains, in a stock or whatever asset you're trading. We're talking a few days, maybe a few weeks, riding those price swings. It's different from, say, day trading where you're in and out within a single day.
Exactly. It's a bit like surfing, right? You catch a wave, ride it for a while, and then you hop off before it crashes. The goal is to profit from those momentum shifts that take a little longer to play out.
And Pazim makes a good point. This makes swing trading perfect for people who can't be glued to their screens all day, right? You get to choose when you're going to analyze the markets and make your moves. It fits into your life, not the other way around.
Right on. He uses this great anecdote about a millennial trader who balances, a regular day job with swing trading. This trader gets up early before work, uses those quiet morning hours to look at the market, place trades, and then they check in again after work, making adjustments as needed. It's a perfect example of how swing trading can be flexible for people with other things going on.
It's all about working smarter, not harder, right? Speaking of millennials, Pazim seems to think they're a big force in the swing trading world. What do you think about that?
I think he's spot on, actually. Millennials are digital natives. They're comfortable with technology, with managing their own investments. They're used to having control over their finances. And swing trading fits right in with that mindset.
It's about taking charge, right? It's not just handing your money over to a financial advisor and hoping for the best.
Exactly. And you can see this desire for control in how popular online brokerages have become, with commission-free trading and just the sheer amount of financial information we have access to. Platforms like Robinhood, with their simple interfaces, have made investing more accessible than ever, especially for younger generations.
It's definitely democratizing investing, which is pretty cool to see. But let's get down to the practical stuff. Pazim's a big proponent of candlestick charts. Some might think those are outdated, but he argues they're still super relevant. What's your take?
He's right. They are still very relevant. Candlestick charts give you a visual way to see how prices have moved over a certain time period. Each candlestick shows you four key things: where the price opened, the highest it reached, the lowest it hit, and where it closed.
But they're more than just pretty pictures, though, right? Pazim talks about how these candlesticks can actually reveal patterns, signals, that can help you figure out where a stock might go next.
100%. For example, he points out this candlestick pattern called a hammer. This pattern often means a potential reversal is coming in a downtrend, particularly if it shows up at a support level.
So it's like the stock is trying to hammer out a bottom, trying to find some stability, and then potentially reverse.
You got it. It's all about seeing those little hints that the market is giving you.
Yeah.
But Pazim doesn't rely only on candlestick patterns. He also stresses how important it is to understand technical indicators.
Right. It's about having all the right tools. So let's break down those indicators a bit. Pazim talks about moving averages, RSI, MACD, and ATR. Think of these as your market dashboard, giving you insights into momentum, trends, potential reversals, all that good stuff. Where should we start?
Well, moving averages are a good place to start. They basically smooth out the price data, make it easier to spot trends. Pazim really likes to use the 50-day and 200-day moving averages.
Longer time frames.
Yeah, he says these longer-term ones give you a clearer picture of the overall trend than just looking at the short term.
Gotcha. It's like seeing the forest, not just the trees. He's looking for those big shifts in momentum. You also mentioned RSI, which always seems to be a popular indicator, but it can be a little, cryptic. How does Pazim actually use it?
Think of RSI, or Relative Strength Index, as a way to measure momentum. But Pazim adds a twist. You see, lots of traders use those standard 70-30 levels for overbought and oversold conditions.
Right, right.
But Pazim suggests that you should adjust those levels based on how volatile the stock is.
Oh, interesting. So a less volatile stock might be considered overbought at a lower RSI, while a more volatile one might not hit overbought until a higher level.
You got it. It's all about context, which is something I really appreciate about Pezim's approach. He wants you to actually think about the indicators, not just blindly follow them. Another important indicator he talks about is MED, which stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence. It's used to identify shifts in momentum, and it does that by comparing two different moving averages.
Okay, so let's say the MACD lines are moving closer together, maybe hinting at the current trend continuing. How would Pezim actually use that information to make a trading decision?
So Pezim gives this example of a stock that's been in an uptrend, and the MACD lines are converging. He wouldn't necessarily buy right then and there. Instead, he'd wait for a pullback, maybe toward that 50-day moving average we talked about, just to confirm the trend is still strong. Then he'd look for a good entry point. It's about combining different signals for a better chance of success.
So he's not just looking at MACD in isolation, he's using it with other indicators and the actual price movements, looking for those points where multiple things are lining up.
Exactly. He calls it stacking the odds in your favor. And in addition to those indicators, he's a big fan of using the average true range, ATR, to help manage risk, especially when setting stop-loss orders.
Right, stop losses. Every trader's best friend, really. So how does ATR actually help determine the right spot for those stop losses?
Well, ATR measures the average range of a stock's price over a certain time, and Pezim usually looks at 14 days, so the last 2 weeks of trading. If a stock has a high ATR, it means it's more volatile, bigger swings up and down, whereas a lower ATR suggests things are a bit calmer.
So if a stock has that high ATR, meaning it jumps around a lot, Pezim would probably set a wider stop loss so he doesn't get knocked out of the trade too early on those normal price swings.
Exactly. He doesn't want to get shaken out by every little wiggle. Now let's shift gears a bit from indicators to something Pezim also digs into, chart patterns. He says these recurring patterns in the market can give you really valuable clues.
He specifically mentions things like double bottoms, head and shoulders, and flags. Let's start with the double bottom. Why should swing traders care about that one?
Well, a double bottom is a bullish reversal pattern, and it usually pops up after a downtrend. Pezim talks about watching for a stock that has dropped to a support level, bounced a bit, and then dropped back to that same level again, making a W shape on the chart.
Okay, I can picture that.
But here's the key. He looks for increasing volume on that second bounce off the support.
So it's not just about the pattern itself, but the volume is telling him buyers are stepping in, potentially pushing the price back up.
Right. Volume is a key confirmation tool for him. Now, on the flip side, we've got the head and shoulders pattern, which, as you might guess, is bearish.
A little ominous sounding, yeah.
It is often seen as a sign that an uptrend might be turning into a downtrend.
So what should traders be watching for with this pattern?
Pezim points out that, again, the volume pattern is super important. He wants to see decreasing volume on each of those peaks within the head and shoulders formation. That tells him momentum might be fading. And here's a pro tip from Pezim. He often likes to wait for a break below the neckline. That's the line connecting the two shoulders, just to confirm the reversal before he makes a move.
Smart. He's not jumping the gun. He wants that confirmation. Now, what about flags? How do they factor into Pezim's swing trading?
Flags can be either bullish or bearish, depending on which way the trend was going before the flag formed. He sees them as continuation patterns, so they might signal that the previous move is going to keep going after a pause. Imagine a stock is in a strong uptrend, and then it takes a breather, trades in a tighter range for a bit.
Okay, I'm with you.
That range often looks like a rectangle, sort of like a flag on a pole.
And that's the signal that the uptrend might continue.
Exactly. Pezim would want to see a breakout above the top of that flag shape with good volume to confirm it's time to buy. On the other hand, if it breaks down below the bottom of the flag with rising volume, that could mean the downtrend is about to pick up again.
So it's all about recognizing those pauses and then figuring out what comes next. Pezim really gives you a framework for finding and understanding these setups, and one of the tools he loves to use is stock scanners like FinViz.
He's all about those scanners. FinViz especially lets you filter through thousands of stocks based on what you're looking for. For swing trading, Pezim focuses on filters like average volume, relative volume, price range, and those technical indicators we discussed.
So instead of clicking through charts all day, you can let FinViz do a lot of the initial work for you. What are some of the filters Pezim uses to narrow down his watch list?
He usually starts with average daily volume. He likes stocks with at least 500,000 shares traded per day.
Okay.
Wants to make sure there's enough liquidity so he can easily get in and out of trades. Then he'll use technical filters, like maybe stocks trading above their 50-day moving average, but still below their 200-day moving average.
Interesting. So he's after those stocks that are showing some signs of strength, but they haven't gone full-blown uptrend yet.
Exactly, trying to get in early on the move. And of course, he stresses how crucial risk management is, which is probably a good thing to discuss next.
Totally. It's not just about finding those winners, but protecting yourself along the way. Pezim's big on risk management, calls it the cornerstone of successful swing trading. And it's even more important for swing traders because you're often holding those positions for longer periods, right?
You got it. Swing traders are exposed to that overnight risk, weekend risk, so managing that is critical. Pezim uses a bunch of different tools and techniques, but it always starts with knowing how much risk you're comfortable with personally.
So knowing your limits, not getting caught up in all the excitement or letting fear take over your decisions.
Exactly. He recommends never risking more than 1–2% of your total trading capital on a single trade. So let's say you have a $10,000 account. You wouldn't want to risk more than $100 to $200 on any single trade, no matter how good you think it looks.
That's a really good rule to keep in mind, that 1–2% rule. It's about protecting what you've got so you can stay in the game longer. Pezim also talks about using stop-loss orders and figuring out your risk-reward ratios. Can you walk us through how he uses those?
Pezim loves stop-loss orders.
Yeah.
He says they're absolutely essential for managing risk for locking in profits. But he doesn't just plop a stop-loss order at some random percentage below his entry price. He gets strategic with it. He uses technical analysis, looks at the average true range, that ATR we talked about.
So he's finding logical spots on the chart, places where the price action is telling him the trade might be going against him.
Precisely. He might look for support levels, maybe use the ATR to figure out a good stop-loss level based on how volatile the stock's been. And along with those stop-loss orders, Pezim really emphasizes calculating risk-reward ratios before you even enter a trade.
Makes sense. So how does he work that into his swing trading?
He aims for at least a 2.1 risk-reward ratio on all his trades. That means for every dollar he's risking, he wants to make at least $2 in profit. He'll actually determine his profit target first, usually based on technical analysis, chart patterns, that kind of thing, and then he sets his stop-loss accordingly.
So it's a strategic way of approaching trading. It's not just about winning, it's about winning big enough to make up for those inevitable losses that happen.
Exactly. Trading is a numbers game. Pezim understands that. He also really stresses discipline, which might be one of the trickiest parts of trading to master.
Especially when your emotions get involved, right? It's so easy to get caught up in FOMO, that fear of missing out, or you go on a winning streak and get overconfident. Pezim says sticking to your plan is key.
He says it really well in the book. Discipline is what separates the amateurs from the professionals. And it's so true. It's easy to get caught up in the moment. But those who can stay calm, stay objective, stick to their plan even when their gut is telling them otherwise, those are the ones who really find success.
So how can our listener cultivate that kind of discipline? What does Pezim suggest?
He's a big believer in having a solid trading plan from the start. Figure out your strategy, your risk tolerance, your entry and exit rules, your profit targets. Write it all down. Refer back to it often.
It's like having that roadmap to keep you on track.
Exactly. He also recommends keeping a trading journal. Write down your trades, your thought process, even how you're feeling emotionally.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it can help you see those patterns in your behavior, both the good and the bad, so you can learn and improve.
It's about turning every experience, whether it's a win or a loss, into a learning opportunity.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of taking breaks. Trading can be mentally draining, so stepping away from the charts, clearing your head, it's important.
Speaking of stepping back, Pezim doesn't just focus on all the technical stuff. He gets into the psychology of trading, too, which I think is something people don't talk about enough. What are some of his big takeaways in that area?
He talks about managing your emotions, which can be a huge hurdle for traders. Fear and greed, they're powerful forces that can lead to bad decisions.
Right. It's like you have to master your mind as much as you're trying to master the market.
Exactly. Pezim emphasizes self-awareness. Really try to understand what your emotional triggers are and then have a plan for dealing with them when they pop up. He also talks about the importance of patience. Swing trading isn't about getting rich quick. It takes time, takes discipline to see those consistent results.
Now, one of the things Pezim talks about that I found really interesting is his approach to what he calls hot sector manias. He says these periods of, intense speculation can be risky, but they also offer unique opportunities for swing traders. So how does he say you should approach these manias?
The key is to identify those manias early, ride that wave, but then be ready to get out before it crashes down. He uses the dot-com bubble as a classic example.
Oh yeah, that was a wild time.
For sure. Investors were throwing money at anything internet-related, which drove prices through the roof, but it wasn't sustainable.
It was a classic speculative bubble. So how can a swing trader spot these kinds of opportunities without getting swept up in the hype?
Pezim uses a combination of technical analysis, looking at charts, but also some fundamental analysis. He's looking for sectors where prices are shooting up, high trading volume, tons of media attention. But he also wants to see if there's real growth potential, or if it's all just hype.
He's not just chasing the hype train blindly.
Right. And he pays close attention to sentiment indicators, too, like surveys of what investors are feeling, even what's on the cover of magazines.
So he's looking for that point where everything's lining up, but he also knows getting out of these manias at the right time is just as important, if not more so.
100%. He always has an exit plan in place before he enters a trade. Don't let greed make your decisions for you. He'll often actually start reducing his position size as a stock goes up during a mania, just taking some profits off the table. And he keeps an eye out for any signs of weakness in the technical indicators, any shifts in sentiment.
So he's basically taking some risk off the table as the mania keeps going. It's about being strategic, being disciplined, even when things are exciting.
Exactly. Well said. Pezim's book covers a lot, but one of the big takeaways is that there's no magic formula for swing trading. He wants each trader to find what works best for them.
That's great advice. His book gives you a really strong foundation, but it's up to each trader to take those principles and apply them to their own trading style, their own risk tolerance.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to test things out, make some mistakes along the way. Everyone has their own path in trading.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive into swing trading. We explored a lot of Brian Pezim's strategies, from using technical analysis and managing risk to navigating the often overlooked psychological side of trading. Remember, it's all about finding your own edge, managing that risk, and staying disciplined. Happy trading, everyone.